G'day guys, and welcome back for another one. Alright, today I've got a new tool for you. It's by all means not new on the market. I've been around for quite a while, but I've been after one for a while, but I really hadn't needed one, to tell you the truth. But it's basically a rivet nut tool. If you haven't heard, well, they're basically this is a blank, and you drill a hole in a bit of steel big enough to receive this, and then you insert the correct mandrel for this thread. And basically this is a big pot rivet gun basically, and it compresses a portion of this blank so that it mushrooms out bigger than the hole, so it can't be withdrawn. And these got these little grooves that bite into the they expand in the hole and bite into the parent material so it won't spin, and then you have created a threaded hole in very thin material that you can put a bolt in. And that's what I need to do. I have a stripped thread in I suppose you call it the sump guard of my Hilux, and it threads into a cross member in the chassis, something like that. That's very thin, and you can't just tap it out. So I'm going to use a rivet nut to replace the thread so I can reinstall the bolt again. Okay. I bought this off not Temu. I bought it off AliExpress, but they're available on Temu, eBay, Amazon, all over the place. I wanted up to the 12mm M12. Got a little jib because my assortment of rivet nuts only go up to M10, I just found out, so a little bit of a rip off there. It's pretty basic what you get. It came in a cardboard box. All the I suppose arbor adapters were in the box, and this was separately, but it was all in one package. So yeah, pretty basically packed. Instructions are pretty all but useless. Basically tells you what came in it, and the rest of the actual instructions on the back are all in, I'm assuming, Chinese, but pictures tell 1,000 words. So I look online, heaps of tutorials. It's really not that much different from a pot rivet gun. So what we need to work out is how big a hole we need to drill to insert this, and this measures that, because I need to repair an M8 thread, so that's M8. So this is the M8 rivet nut, so that screws onto there. So that's how I realise, because they're not marked. Some may be marked, but these ones, they don't have any marking of what size they are. So because I thought I had M12 to M3, I sort of went around the size, but thinking that they were the M12, but they're actually M10. So turns out anyway, these ones are the M8 rivet nuts, and the size of the OD of that comes in at 10.82 millimeters. So an 11mm drill should be fine. I am going to see if actually we'll do it right now, if the imperial equivalent will get me closer to that measurement. I have a little book here, so we are looking at 10 mil. Where are we? 16. Bring it to the light. So 10.8. Okay, so the closest thing is 27/64, which is smaller than 10.8, so that won't do. 17.6 is bigger than 11 mil, so 11 mil is my best bet for standard drills. There's probably something in between, but I haven't got it, so an 11 mil is going to do it, and that should be okay because, yeah, like a pop rivet, when you pull the levers and compress that, this section here, because the thread doesn't start until around that spline, and here there is no thread. So this part here is going to bulge out. It's going to bulge out like a pop rivet, collapse, and create a bigger inside diameter so that can't be pulled through. So I'm sure it's going to take off, well, 0.2 of a millimeter is all we need with an 11 mil, maybe a little less because, or it might be a little bit more. The hole tends to come a bit bigger than 11, but I'm sure it'll more than cover it. All right, so we're going to set the mandrel up. So at the moment it's got the M6 in it, that's what it came with installed already. So we're going to remove that fit, and we're going to drill a hole in this because I'm going to test one before I do it on the actual Hulix, just to make sure I have, I'm doing it okay. So I'll set you up over here. Zoom in a bit. Okay, so you do get this particular tool with the unit, and that's loose anyway. So I'm unscrewing that, and I'm not sure how this comes out, to tell you the truth. I wonder if I undo that. No. Let's have a look if the instructions will give me any. Okay, I think this has to come off. From what I can see. But okay, so you have a spring loaded and it's hiding the nut. Okay, so let's zoom it out a little bit more. It's hiding the nut, so I'm assuming that that nut will fit that. Oh, it's not even that tight. There we go. Okay, so that's the M6. We'll place that into the M6 one. Got our M8 one. Thread that into there. And we'll just give it a little nip up. There we go. Now you screw into there. Okay. Right. That does not go over the top of that. It does say M6. They all have flanges on them, but these ones do too, but that one didn't. Great, no flange. Alright, so we're missing the flange, I'm going to use the M10. The M8 didn't have the flange on it, just this flange nut. Didn't have it. So and that just see how that goes. Hopefully that should still work, but yeah, not ideal. Okay, so we're going to drill an 11mm hole in this, and then we'll come back and we'll test it out. Okay, so here's our 11mm hole. As you can see, our blank fits in there nicely. So, and I'm going to try and set you up. Alright, so I've set you up here so that when I pull it, you'll be able to see exactly what's happening. Hopefully I'll get this right. Okay. Well, that's as far as it's going. And now I just withdraw the thread. That's it. We'll screw the bolt in there. I'm just going to use a shifter because I've got one handy. Just to make sure it's snug. There you go. It's tight and it's not spinning. So, how easy was that? Very easy. Now, it sits above it here a little bit, but I mean, for what my application, it's really not going to make much difference. If the metal was thicker, you could probably, recess that down if you wanted it to sit flush, if you had a reason for it to sit flush. But for my application, for this repair I'm doing on the Hulix, it really won't make any difference. But yeah, there we go. So we'll take this out and we'll have a bit of a better look at it. So as you can see, if I can get the camera to focus, so there you are. You can see how it's mushroomed out so that it can't be withdrawn back through. Pretty simple but ingenious idea. Alright, so now we know it works, and really didn't take a lot of force to do that. It sort of was quite quick and bang. And I didn't have to make several adjustments with it or anything. So very easy to use. Alright, so I think we're ready to do it on the Hulix now. I'll get some tools together, get the Hulix up on some ramps, and yeah, get everything ready and we'll get into that little job I've got. It slipped backwards, did it? This is the pan I'm trying to fix. Okay, and as you can see, it's missing 2 holes, 2 bolts there, and this is the one that's stripped out. But I'm going to fix this one, and I might as well do that one as well, because probably going to have the same problem. So first to do it, I have to remove this. So let's get into it. Oh, it's quite tight. I know, we got another couple here. Okay. Should come out. Looks like sump plug is right over here. So that's why that has to keep coming off. Let's bring you in for a look. Okay, so there's the sump plug up here. So to drain it, unless you're sucking it out from the top, which some of them do, also gives you access to the oil filter up here too, but you could access that from behind there if you had to. But yeah, there's your oil drain plug. Bit of an odd place for it, but hey, Toyota do it for a reason, I suppose. Okay, the reason why I've got so much dirt on this is I went through a mud sort of puddle, and yeah, I gave it a wash as much space as I could from sort of outside the car, but yeah, obviously more splashed up than I thought. And I've got a nice clean oil pan because I got the transmission serviced last month by Quinton Automatics in East Keilor. Great guy, Paul, down there. Paul Quinton, his name. And yeah, he does some great work. Very, very good work. Been going to him for years. All right, so we need to retap. And I might even do this one as well, just to keep it at the same height. But yeah, definitely, I think it's this one and that one. But we'll make sure I'll put that pan back on just to make sure, because it could be this one. That one. Yeah, not sure it's the outside ones, but by look at the contact there, it is that one, the outside one. But we'll need to drill them out. Okay, so it is the 2 outer ones. Okay, and you don't want to sit directly above it because I don't want to get showered with metal. Okay, I'm about to break through. Yeah, this is not going to be easy, I don't think. Now the reason why I'm doing this, it looks so tight, is because the way this is formed is it's pushed in So the metal is actually flares up inside there to create enough material to make a nut to thread into. Now, because that is flared up, when you put this rivet in there, there's no room for, when you compress the rivet, for it to bow out. So it's actually compressing against the sides of that, inside of that flare out. Okay, so I've had to really pull down as much as I can to try and crush it in there and compress it against there, because when I put the bolt in there, because there isn't that much room for it to flare out, I didn't want it to spin, because it's in there. All right, we'll do the other one. Okay. All right. Let's get a rag, because I've got a bit of oil I want to wipe off here. I think it's from when the last oil change. I didn't really clean it up. Okay. I'll bring you in for a look. So there's our one, and our two, and yeah, you can't see what the inside like. I can feel that inside there, and hopefully she won't rotate, but we'll just have to wait and see. I might undo it and see what happens. It does all right. There we go. I just think I'm going to have to go easy on these back ones, because yeah, if you put too much torque on them, they're just going to spin. All right. Well, there's the job done. Really need more on these outside ones so that doesn't rattle. So like I said, I'm missing 2 bolts. And that one's going to rattle. I might take that one out, shift it across to there. Just see if I still get the rattle. I think that'll do for now. And I'm going to have to get 2 more of these bolts for there and there. But that'll do for now. It's got that many holding on, it's in no fear of falling off. But I'm going to say that that's done for now. And look, it worked. But yeah, I'll be really careful. Okay, so what do I think about the tool? Well, the tool itself, I haven't got any problems with. It works as intended to. It doesn't need a hell of a lot of adjustability to get the compression you need. Leverage is good. It's all strong enough. Everything tends to work as intended. The only thing I'm a little disappointed in was one, I got jibbed on the 12mm rivets. Didn't come in the packet. And the other issue I have is that my M8, oh actually there it is there, it was stuck in there. So I just didn't look in the inside properly. Must have been in the cap, stuck in there, and the mating part I've pulled it out and it's not there. So there it is. All right, so it came with everything it needed. Got jibbed on that. Okay, I mean, like, maybe I didn't quite read the instructions, the write-up properly. I can wear that. You can use these without even buying this tool. But one thing you can't get away from is you need these mandrels. You can't get away without them. But there are ones that you can buy that aren't specific to a tool. And you just buy the mandrel and you use a spanner on one end and a socket on the other, and basically you just do what we've done, insert it in a hole. This screws into that, and you hold that with a spanner, and then you withdraw this with a ratchet or another spanner, and that compresses that, and you're done. You don't have to buy this tool to use this, because let's face it, that's the major cost of the tool. But I thought, I'm getting the set, might as well get the tool. But if you didn't want to pay the extra for the tool, I think it was only about $20 just for like a set of these. So there's your choices. But they do work, as you've seen. And you don't have to get the whiz bang King Chrome or Milwaukee or whatever. Tools 606 works quite well. And even without that particular tool, just these on their own. I mean, you could probably even make it if you wanted to. It's just basically threads on with a nut built into it. It's nothing super duper high tech. But there you go. Okay, so my thoughts on the tool: it works as intended. Even though it's a cheap thing, it will get you out of trouble and probably perform just as well as the dearer ones. So in my book, it's okay. I'd rather, like I said, $56 I think all this was, and when you're looking at the King Chrome ones, that they started at about 100. So you work out what you'd rather prefer. This works just fine. I'm happy with it. So the only other thing I would rather, and if you're this way inclined, if I was to do it again, I would have got one with it all in a case, because yeah, this is just, it's a bit of a mess around, even though they're color coordinated type thing. A nice blow molded case would have been great, and I will be making something in the future to house all this. Not so much these, because that's self-contained in that sort of thing, and you know, there's too many things in that to incorporate into one case with this. But I will make something where I've got the tool and all these, I don't know whether they'll be in their cases or just fit into somewhere in like a box type thing, just to keep it all together. So if I do go somewhere, I don't have all this loose stuff, and I can just grab the one box, and that be great if that fits inside it, and you just take it and go type thing, or just open it and you can easily find what you want, and away you go again. I will be doing something that in the future, but yeah, just when time allows. But for all purposes, it works great. I'm happy with it. It did the job that I bought it for, and will probably do the job that anything else that I need in the future. And I might think differently about when I build something now, because I have this capability, and yeah, don't need to jump forward to maybe a thicker bit of steel just to thread it. I can use thinner material, which might make things cheaper, might change the way I think about designing some things that I might build. So it can open up a whole new world for you in that way as well. All right, well, I hope you got something out of this. Thanks for joining me, and please like or subscribe, share if you feel the need to do so, or if you know anyone that is interested, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.